because what Brian Entin just uncovered is about to blow this entire Nancy Guthrie disappearance case wide open. Imagine this. While investigators were spinning in circles in Tucson, one relentless journalist followed the money, and it led straight across the border to Mexico. Not just any transaction, a massive, jaw-dropping payment from Nancy Guthrie's own account. Weeks before she vanished into thin air, an out-of-character fortune wired to a shadowy property services company in a quiet coastal region of Mexico. Insiders are saying this wasn't a vacation booking. This wasn't some innocent real estate deal. This was Nancy desperately trying to uncover a dark secret hidden thousands of miles away. A secret someone in her own circle apparently didn't want her to find. Brian Entin didn't rely on rumors. He dug into financial records that everyone else missed. And what he found is sending shockwaves through the entire investigation. Was Nancy quietly building a case against her own family? Was she moments away from exposing betrayal that stretched all the way to Mexico? And most terrifying of all, did someone make sure she disappeared before that money trail could lead back to them? This is getting darker by the second, and trust me, you have no idea what's coming next. Keep watching, because the twists are only just beginning. Let's go back to the very beginning of this nightmare, because what happened to Nancy Guthrie didn't start the day she disappeared. It was years in the making, fueled by greed, betrayal, and family secrets that were rotting everything from the inside. Nancy Guthrie was a woman who had it all, or at least that's what the outside world believed. Successful, sharp-minded, and living what seemed like a perfect life in Tucson, Arizona. But behind closed doors, her world was crumbling. According to insiders close to the family, Nancy had grown increasingly suspicious of the people she once trusted the most, especially her own relatives. Whispers of financial manipulation, hidden motives, and a growing sense of paranoia had started consuming her final months. At the center of this storm stands Entin Guthrie, Nancy's own flesh and blood. Sources claim the tension between them had reached boiling point. Large cash withdrawals, mysterious deposits, and strange family transfers were raising red flags everywhere. Then there's Tommaso Cioni, the man many believe was pulling strings from the shadows. Their alleged closeness with Annie had Nancy questioning everything. Was her own family plotting against her? Was her estate being eyed like a prize? Nancy wasn't stupid. She knew something was terribly wrong. In her final weeks, she was frantically reviewing her will, changing beneficiary designations, and making urgent calls to her insurance company. She even reached out to a retired property manager in Mexico multiple times, desperately asking about a specific vacant address. Why Mexico? That's the question that's haunting everyone right now. And then came Brian Entin, the fearless investigative journalist who refuses to let this case die. While official investigators were focused on the backyard, the hardware store receipts, and the pharmacy purchases, Brian was doing what he does best, digging where others wouldn't dare to look. He followed the money, cold, hard financial records that told the news no one wanted to hear. This wasn't just another family dispute. This was a calculated web of deception that allegedly stretched across international borders. Nancy was clearly preparing for war, legal, financial, and personal. But someone, somewhere, apparently decided she was getting too close to the truth. The stage was set for an explosion. And what Brian Entin just dropped is the match that could burn the entire news to the ground. But trust me, this is only the beginning. The real betrayal is far darker than anyone imagined. What exactly was Nancy trying to uncover in Mexico? And who was so desperate to stop her? Brian Entin didn't just find some small clue. He uncovered a massive financial bomb that completely shattered the official narrative of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Deep in Nancy's private bank records, hidden among hundreds of normal transactions, was one that made even seasoned investigators do a double take. A huge, completely out-of-character wire transfer, sent directly to a small, obscure property services company operating in a remote coastal region of Mexico. This wasn't pocket change. We're talking about a sum so large that people who knew Nancy's spending habits were left speechless. This was not a vacation payment. This was not a casual real estate investment. According to insiders who have seen the documents, this was a deliberate, purposeful transfer made just weeks before Nancy vanished without a trace. Imagine the scene. Nancy sitting alone in her Tucson home late at night, heart pounding, typing in the details for this international transfer. She knew the risks. She knew someone might be watching. Yet she still did it. Why? Because she was hunting for the truth, and that truth was waiting for her thousands of miles away in Mexico. Multiple sources now confirm Nancy had been making frantic calls to a retired property manager in that same coastal area. She kept asking the same chilling question over and over. Has anyone been to that vacant address recently? Her voice, according to those familiar with the calls, was filled with urgency and fear. She wasn't planning a holiday. She was investigating something or someone connected to that empty property. And then she paid a professional company to dig even deeper. This property services firm isn't your average rental agency. Leaked information reveals they specialize in detailed investigations, pulling ownership records, documenting recent activity, photographing hidden access points, and even interviewing locals. Nancy wasn't renting a beach house. She was paying for hard evidence. Evidence that could potentially destroy the people she once trusted. Insiders are whispering that this payment connects directly to Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni, the same names that have been circling the financial pressure and suspicious transfers on the domestic side. One leaked message allegedly from Nancy to a close confidant reads, "If I'm right about Mexico, everything changes. They thought I wouldn't find it." The betrayal runs deep. Nancy wasn't just scared. She was furious. She was building a complete case, changing her will, updating insurance beneficiaries, contacting the sheriff, and now gathering international proof. She was preparing to blow the lid off what she believed was a calculated plot against her life and her legacy. But here comes the first devastating twist. Brian Entin's investigation has now linked this Mexico transaction to a border crossing record that appeared around the same time. Was Nancy planning to go there herself? Was she about to confront the truth face to face at that mysterious vacant address? Or did someone use her own investigation against her, creating a false trail to make it look like she fled the country? Sources say the amount she wired was large enough to trigger serious professional work. The company had already started their investigation when Nancy suddenly went silent forever. Whatever they found at that coastal property, ownership papers, photos, witness statements, remains locked away. But one thing is clear. Nancy was getting dangerously close to exposing a connection that someone wanted buried forever. The domestic investigation had been focused on the backyard, the signed documents, the phone calls, and the hardware store receipts. Nobody was looking at Mexico. Until now, this single transaction has turned the entire case upside down. What Nancy discovered, or was about to discover, in that quiet coastal town may be the key to why she disappeared. And if the people around her knew about this payment, then the motive becomes crystal clear. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about a woman who refused to stay silent. A woman who was ready to fight back with everything she had. But she never got the chance to finish what she started. As soon as Brian Entin dropped his bombshell about the massive Mexico transaction, the entire investigation went into absolute chaos. Official investigators, who had been quietly working the domestic angle for months, are now scrambling to catch up. Mexican authorities have reportedly been contacted. Subpoenas are being prepared. And that quiet coastal town is suddenly under a microscope. But here's the second devastating twist that changes everything. Insiders close to the probe are now revealing that the property services company wasn't just investigating a random vacant address. Nancy specifically directed them to a property that appears to have indirect financial links to people in her inner circle. Sources claim early findings show recent activity at the location, signs of maintenance, utility usage, and even possible visits, right around the time Nancy was making her desperate calls. Someone was using that vacant property, and Nancy knew it. This revelation has sent shockwaves across the internet. Twitter, X, is on fire with trending hashtags, hashtag Nancy Guthrie Mexico, and hashtag Who Owns the Property, exploding overnight. One viral thread by a true crime influencer read, Nancy wasn't running away. She was hunting them down. The money trail proves she was building a case bigger than anyone realized. The post has already crossed 2.8 million views in hours. Even some celebrity voices are weighing in. A famous reality TV star posted, "This is terrifying when your own family becomes your biggest threat. Praying for justice for Nancy." Meanwhile, heated debates are splitting the internet. some calling Annie and Tommaso cold-blooded opportunists, while others defend them, saying it's all just coincidence. Leaked reports suggest Nancy's final text to her trusted contact mentioned Mexico changes everything. That single message is now being dissected by armchair detectives worldwide. The escalation is unreal. What started as a local missing person case has now become an international financial mystery with possible criminal implications stretching across the border. But the most chilling part? The property services company had already begun preparing a full evidentiary package for Nancy. Photos, ownership documents, timelines, when she suddenly vanished. That report was never delivered. And whatever it contained might be the smoking gun this entire case has been waiting for. So here's the terrifying new question everyone is asking tonight. What exactly did Nancy discover about that Mexican property that made her a target? And more importantly, who made sure she never lived to see the final report? The internet has officially lost its mind over Brian Entin's bombshell revelation, and reactions are coming in hot and brutal. Within minutes of the report dropping, social media platforms exploded like never before. Hashtag Nancy Guthrie Mexico is currently trending worldwide, with over 1.4 million posts in the last 24 hours alone. True crime communities are going absolutely wild. One viral Twitter thread titled "The Mexico Money Trail That Changes Everything" has already amassed 2 million views, with thousands of comments screaming, "I knew the family was involved." Fans are brutally divided. Team Nancy supporters are flooding comments with messages like, "This poor woman was fighting for her life while her own blood was plotting against her. Heartbreaking and terrifying." Many are calling Nancy a warrior who refused to go down without a fight. Emotional tributes and conspiracy theory videos are pouring in by the hundreds every hour. On the other side, defenders of Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni are pushing back hard. "This is all speculation and desperation," one supporter wrote. "A single transaction doesn't prove anything. Stop destroying innocent lives." The backlash has been so intense that some fan pages defending the family have been temporarily shut down due to report storms. Even bigger names in the industry are reacting. A well-known true crime podcaster posted, "Brian Entin just did what law enforcement couldn't. This Mexico connection is the missing puzzle piece we've all been waiting for." Reality TV insiders are also buzzing, with several Housewives-adjacent personalities sharing cryptic stories about family betrayal and hidden assets. Major news outlets are now scrambling to cover the news. Headlines like "Nancy Guthrie's secret Mexico payment," "Betrayal beyond borders,"